What is going on, Multiversers? Welcome back to the channel. So much happened yesterday. Season 2 is out, new battle pass, new cosmetics, and there's still so much more to come for Season 2. Like, yesterday was just day 1 for Season 2. That's insane. So I might end up having to make this into like a 2-part kind of video, but there's a ton of information that came out yesterday that unfortunately I had to leave for work, so I couldn't make a video, but we're making it now. So let's start things off. I don't want to waste any more time. So this is actually on the official Multiversus website, so that's kind of cool. But in Season 2, here's a little bit of a breakdown. In case you didn't hear, I think most people did, new characters are definitely coming. The first one is going to be Marvin the Martian. All right, I don't think a lot of people are going to be surprised by that because reasons, but hey, cool. We got a confirmation of at least one of the characters for the season, and it kind of gives a little description of him, which is kind of cool. So Marvin is definitely coming soon to Multiverses. I'm going to guess they'll be back on their 2-week time frame for like updates. So if I had to guess, I'd say Marvin's coming in 2 weeks. So, and I got a reason for that, and we'll get to that in a few minutes once we get to that part of the video. But Marvin is coming to the game, so it's pretty cool. But what else new is coming to the game? Well, we all want new stages, right? Well, luckily they did also announce a brand new stage. I mean, they only announced just this one, but that's probably because it's the most ready to release, so that's kind of cool. And it is a Game of Thrones stage. Winter is coming, you know, and along with it, there's a new map, so that's cool. With Season 2, introducing a new Game of Thrones themed map with all hazards and pitfalls that you'd expect from the land of Westeros. So interesting thing that they point out here, or that they say in that little paragraph up top, is you'll be able to hurl your opponents away from the Iron Throne while humming an all-new remix of the awesome Game of Thrones theme music. So do they mean you can hurl your opponents away from the Iron Throne, as in, like, is that a new stage mechanic? Is there going to be some way to interact with the stage and you hurl them away? Or are they just, I think they just mean that in the general sense. Like, hey, that's my throne, I want to sit on it, so you're going to be trying to knock and hurl your opponents away from it because, hey, everybody wants that throne, but only one person can have it. So I think that's what they meant, but it'd be interesting if there was a new stage mechanic where you actually hurl people that get close to the throne. I mean, it's on the stage, so it's in the background, but we'll see how that happens. Either way, new stage is coming into the game as well, so very cool. But what if we go back to Marvin for a second? Go back to Marvin, because we actually got quite a bit more information about this new character. As in, we know some of his, actually we know his 3 unique perks and what they will be doing. So this does come from a data miner here, so they do tell us here Marvin's character data isn't in the game yet, except for his perks. And that's why I believe, since his character data is not in the game yet, that's why I think it's still going to be another couple weeks before it, you know, gets put into the game and on the servers and that stuff. So that's my reasoning. But continuing on, when Marvin redirects, and this is a description of one of his unique perks. When Marvin redirects projectiles, those projectiles gain a small size and speed buff. Ally projectiles that Marvin redirects gain a larger buff. So I don't know, the way I'm reading it, is Marvin going to be a support kind of character by helping to deflect projectiles? Or is he going to be a mage and he can fire off his own projectiles and then try to redirect those? So kind of an interesting choice. I mean, it is kind of an interesting choice, but let me know what you guys think. What would Marvin's character class be? I'd say a mage myself, but we'll have to wait and see. So there's one perk. How about a second one? And this one says, instead of firing one large rocket at Marvin, Marvin's spaceship will shoot one homing missile at each enemy affected with the lock-on debuff. I don't really know what to make of the first part where it says instead of firing one large rocket at Marvin. Is that a way? Oh, that obviously, I just put that together. Wow, I'm stupid. So that goes together with that last little bit of information where he can redirect projectiles. So one of his attacks seems to be, if I'm getting this correct, one of his attacks will be a rocket that he can fire and it will end up coming towards him, but he will then have the opportunity to, you know, redirect it. Okay, so that makes sense. But this perk changes. Instead of the large rocket coming to Marvin, the spaceship will end up shooting these homing missiles. Okay, so that's kind of cool. That could be kind of a game changer, I guess, depending on how your style of Marvin ends up being. So that's an interesting one. But we also have the little information about the final or the third and final unique perk that we know about, and it's, well, here's the final perk. Marvin can aim the direction he fires his up air attack. So is he in his rocket? Like, that's kind of where I go immediately, because heck, he's from Mars and he's traveling all over the universe and he's claiming all these planets and territories in the name of Mars. So is that what he's like? Is he going to be getting into his little rocket ship and blasting off, and then you can control that? Or does he have some sort of different projectile? I'm not quite sure, but I mean, at least we have some little bit of information about all his unique perks, so that's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. Marvin does seem fun. I mean, I'll be honest, I like the character, but I've never been like super attached to the character, but he's always seemed cool, and I'm actually kind of excited for him. I think if he was in season 1, he'd probably have been the third most character I would have personally been for, hype-wise for a character. Rick and Morty would be 1 and 2, and then Marvin would be 3, so I am excited for him. Not that anyone cares, because let's get to more information about Marvin. We actually know of 3 different alternate costumes, or character variants, if you will, and this comes from a different data miner where Susie here tells us this has been leaked a while ago, but just saying it again. Marvin is going to have 3 skins. 3 skins. Space Jam, the OG one from, what was that, 1998? Or the 90s, whenever that one was. And then Space Jam, A New Legacy. And then Commander X9, but Susie meant X2. So I'll put up a quick little... Here's what Commander X2 skin is going to look like for Marvin. Yeah, it's... It's that. I hope this isn't a legendary. If this was a legendary and this cost 2,000 Gleamium, yeah, I think people are gonna have a problem with. I'm just saying, because it's. I mean this with respect. It's not a huge difference, because you're basically, he doesn't have his shirt or his little uniform on. He's still got his little waistband thing, whatever that, I don't even know what it's called, but he's still got that on, but he's basically just in his all black get up for the Commander X2. So it's not much of a change, but there is a change. So hopefully this is like just, I don't know, an uncommon skin or a rare skin or something. Hopefully it doesn't cost too much. I would guess this is probably going to be the one that comes with him. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe it's one of the Space Jam ones we'll end up seeing. But yeah, that is information for Marvin, but we're not done yet. What if I told you we have quite a bit more? As I told you, there's a lot that happened yesterday. Yeah, I'm going to have to make this into 2 parts, but we'll finish off by this. From the first data miner we talked about, now there's a bunch of these tweets that, in a way, they kind of roll together, and we'll put them together at the end so they make a little bit more sense. But first things first, Lysul here says, a string for Aku's Mountain was added today. This is not a drill. Now, why is Aku's Mountain important? In case you don't know or you've never seen the show, this is for Samurai Jack. I am hyped about that. Okay. Samurai Jack is a top 10 wanted character for me. But I need to reel in expectations a little bit, because, well, strings don't... You know what? We'll get into that in just a second. So there's more strings that were added for other various things in the game, and that would include things like new strings were added for the WB lot stage. The WB water tower that's long associated with the Animaniacs. So new strings were added for that. We also have another new string for Scooby-Doo, but it is important to see that second sentence there. I guess it's still technically the first one, but no idea what this is for, but it could be for anything. A new string for quote-unquote Scooby-Doo doesn't mean Scooby-Doo the character, and again, we'll get into that in just a second, but another string here. New strings were added for the Goonies. That's right, the Goonies. Okay, so what is a string? What does that mean? Why does a string for the Goonies, or why does a string for Aku's Mountain? Why would that not necessarily mean Samurai Jack's a playable character, or why would that not necessarily mean a Goonies character is going to be playable? What's up with that? Luckily, Lysul kind of answers that question here. It might be a little confusing, but here's what was said. By the way, for all future tweets, since I saw some people asking, a string in Multiversus is a text that is used in a certain portion of the game. Some strings can be placeholders, not used in things other than developer widgets. Yeah, that might still seem a little confusing. I think I can put it like this. A string, from what I know and understand, just because it's there, it doesn't necessarily mean it's for it's kind of, this is hard to describe a little bit. So like they say, some strings can be placeholders, and placeholders might not always have the correct name associated with it. So when you just see a string for Scooby-Doo, a string could be for a player profile icon, could be for a player banner, it could be for a stage, it could be for a new character, it could be for a new character variant, it could be for, heck, even a stage song, a music track for the game. So a string just implies a certain, there's something new about a character's, a universe. The character, so Scooby-Doo universe. There's going to be something new for the Scooby-Doo universe coming into the game. And again, that could be the profile banner icon and all that stuff. So back to that Aku's Mountain real quick. While I'm excited, I do want to reel in my expectations. Anybody else that's a fan of Samurai Jack, reel it back just a little bit. We don't want to overhype and then not have it happen. So a string for Aku's Mountain could be just a stage. I mean, a Samurai Jack stage I would still take, but I still want Samurai Jack as a playable character, don't get me wrong. But Aku's Mountain could be a stage. It could be a player banner. It could be the profile. It could be all the stuff that we've listed before. Maybe it leads to more stuff later down the road for more Samurai Jack stuff, like a playable character, but for now there's just some sort of string that was titled Aku's Mountain, so we'll have to wait and see, but a lot of information. There's quite a bit I still didn't go over, so maybe tomorrow, maybe next week sometime we'll make somewhat of a follow-up video to this, but a lot of information nonetheless. I hope you guys enjoyed as always. I hope you all enjoy Season 2. I got to jump on and get my dailies for the day, so yeah, let's make some Battle Pass progress. Either way, that is it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I guess I'll see you when I'm looking at you.